Thank you for coming, everybody. Sorry to just cut your conversation short there, but I think we'll just get started. Today, we've kind of scheduled in the 2 hours, but being perfectly honest, I don't think it's going to last that long, but it's quite informal. You're more than welcome to kind of go get a drink and come back if you want to. The cafe's downstairs. Upstairs on the second floor, there's a toilet. And just, I have to let you know, if the fire alarm goes off, the fire exit is just there, and we assemble just across the road outside the council building. So my name is Jane, and I am the manager here at Sheffield Creative Guild, and Brett, my colleague, is over there. So I'm all a bit mic'd up today because we are actually filming this to be able to distribute it to the other members as well. So it's not that just being kind of Madonna. And so today we basically decided to do this kind of short kind of overview of the guild for our members to kind of show exactly how you can maximise, don't worry, your membership, because we had a lot of people saying things like, oh, I don't quite know how to navigate around the membership. I don't quite know how to connect with other people. I don't know how to use the time bank. I don't know how to do this, that, and the other. And so we decided the best thing to do was to kind of create a bit of a kind of, how to. Like I said, it's quite informal. If you've got any questions at any time, just shove your hands up and we'll answer them. So we kind of got, like I said, we got the idea to do this after Brett actually wrote this blog, obviously back in June, about making the most of your membership. So he wrote it, obviously he now works for the Guild, but before that he was just a member. And he is going to explain in a moment exactly what he put in the blog, but he was just talking about the benefits that he got out of the Guild. So that was really the starting point for us to think about how we can communicate, how you can make the most of your membership to other people. So I'm just going to hand over to Brett now, just to give you a bit of an overview of what that blog, what he actually said, and the benefits that you actually got out of that.
So as well as working for the Guild, I am mainly a freelance filmmaker. So I work for all kinds of clients, and I've been doing that for about 8 years. I studied journalism at university and wasn't very good at it. So became a filmmaker, and I worked for a PR and advertising agency for about 5 years. So I did all that sort of stuff. And then I got kind of tired of working for an agency. So I decided I was gonna quit my job and go travel and do like a travel vlog and a travel blog, because I'd read that was a thing that you could do and make money from. It's harder than it sounds, but I did go and do it for about a year. So I traveled around for a year, and I made a load of films, and I made like fashion-y films and that sort of stuff, and I did get better at like doing what I was doing, but after a while I wanted to come home. So I came back to Sheffield with no plan really, apart from to get a studio space to make something. So I took the last bit of my travel money and I got a studio on the Wicker, and the day that I moved in, someone threw a brick through my window, which was a really nice welcome. But I set up in there, and I realized that I didn't really have any connections in Sheffield because I'd been working in Leeds. I'd been away for a year. I'd sold all my camera equipment when I went traveling because I wasn't really planning on coming back. So I came back, and I had basically nothing and no contacts. So I started looking around for what I could do to rectify that. And I found the Guild, and I think I'd seen the website early doors when it had come up, and I really liked the look of it. And I went on there, and I saw some familiar faces of people that I'd either met in the past or worked with and stuff. So I decided to make a profile on there. I took genuinely like the last little bit of my money, and which is not a lot because our membership's not very expensive. So it was really down to my last bit of money, and joined the Guild. And I read through everything that you've got to do. And I think like key to it is that I was quite desperate at the time, so I really looked through everything and made sure that I did every single like thing that the website requires of your profile. It wasn't just like an afterthought that I was like, oh, I should be a member. I really needed this. So I went on and I found my least smug looking profile picture, and I put in what I do. I made sure that I filled in my skill set so that I was searchable on the website. I put a little show reel in there. For some people that might be a link to a portfolio, it might be photography, something like that. I filled out my bio, I gave all of my details there, and then I started looking through the website for other people to connect to. I started reading the blogs. When I wanted to figure out how to properly set up as self-employed, I looked at the resource section. And then the very next thing that I did was post a little thing on the message board saying that I was in Sheffield, I was a filmmaker, I was looking to collaborate and do some stuff. And I started looking at the jobs board and message board on there. The first, I guess the headline for this, which I hate saying because it sounds, I don't know if it sounds like bragging, but it's genuinely just the guild was amazing for me. I booked about £4,000 worth of work within my first 6 months of being a member of the guild, and that was directly through people finding me on the guild website through searching the member section. So looking for filmmakers, I guess. I always like to ask people where they found me when they get in touch. One of the first people that found me was actually Leeds Art Gallery. And they got in touch with me to make a film for them they did a collaboration with the poet Helen Mort and someone else, and I went and made some films there. And that was really great, and that's led to repeat work with them, which I still like in my head is all down to that original guild membership. The other thing that I did was I kept a really close eye on the jobs board and Twitter for the things that were being posted, and anything that even remotely matched my skill set, I would apply for. And so I saw a job going at Hull City of Culture for a theatre company called Slung Low. They made a year-long production called Flood, and it was posted on the guild's jobs board. They needed a digital producer. I applied for it, and I tricked them into hiring me as a digital producer for a year, which was amazing. And that was a huge deal for me because I'd come back with nothing. And then I had what was essentially like, not a wage, it was still freelance, but it felt like a wage because it was a year-long project. So I got that piece of work as well. And then over the last 6 months, I got hired by, they did a career day in Sheffield. They found me through the guild's website, and they actually approached a different filmmaker who's a member first, who was unavailable, and then went to the next filmmaker on the list on the guild site and came to me. So like that's a little bit of the work that I've got through the guild, but a lot of that has not just been me having a profile and leaving it dormant. Even before I worked for the guild, I was really active on going on the message board, going to events. Like a lot of the smaller projects that I've worked on have been from networking at the events that the guild runs and meeting people who may be in the same boat. They're freelancing, they need an illustrator, they need a filmmaker, they need a photographer. They're the little connections that form a network that certainly I've created since being a member of the guild. So yeah, for me, it really is like what you put in, you'll get back, which probably sounds like what any like network might say, but that was genuinely true for me. And it really did like save me when I came back to Sheffield, becoming a member of the guild, because I was active with it, because of the work that I got, I was able to sustain myself and then eventually get hired by the guild as well. And also another thing that was really useful, because that stuff happened before I worked for the guild, I got in touch with Jane and was like, thank you so much for all this help and stuff. And then got featured as like a member of the month on our site, which then made my name and the guild like quite searchable in Google. So that particular article has been found a few times by people and reused on certain stuff. So there's all these little avenues that like being active with the guild can give you and up your presence. So it really has been very, very useful for me before I worked for the guild and after. And hopefully if you guys make full use of your profile, make sure everything's filled in and just be an active member, it could be similarly useful in that way if booking work is your main the main thing that you're looking for, as it was for me. If not, there's loads of other things that Jane will talk about as well. Does anyone have any questions about any of that?
I'm fascinated about the member of the month thing and that the opening Google stuff.
Yeah.
How did that kind of evolve?
I'm not entirely sure. That's more down to our web guy.
Something that comes to you.
Well, no, it's something that other people have told me when searching for me, that's one of the first things that pops up. And recently, because I'm doing a talk somewhere and they were looking for information on me to create an article about it, the first thing that pops up every time is that article when it's searched for.
I know it's still one. I think it was
Yeah, so we rebranded the member of the month. So ironically, Brett was our only one. We just had one member of the month ever, because I started it as a feature and then I couldn't find any other members that were willing to do it. So I put out lots of calls to members asking who wanted to be our next member of the month, and no one.
Everybody in the room would want to be the next member.
No one ever emailed me back. So
I'm incredibly shameless in self-promoting, so I didn't mind doing it.
So we never followed that through. And then what we recently started was a thing that actually Jackie's also been featured, was called Creatives of Sheffield. So that's kind of the rebranded member of the month, and we are doing that regularly now, and we are always looking for people, and I will be talking about that and how you can get involved in that in a moment.
When you come around full circle to artists, can I put my...
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else? Nice. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Brett.
I'm sorry, I have another one, Jane.
Yeah, go for it.
Brett, how did the blog generate money?
Sorry,
You said that you'd heard that having a travel blog would make...
Oh yeah. So there's various ways of doing it, but the route that was most successful for me was sponsorships from other like travel fashion brands and things like that. It takes a huge amount of time to build that up, obviously, and I had very minor success doing it. But yeah, it's mainly through sponsorships and paid advertising.
Cool, thanks. And so I just asked Brett to kind of present the blog that he'd written live, because I think it gives quite a clear, well, it's quite a success story really in that sense. But what I think it's really key to point out is that obviously Brett works as a filmmaker, and that's a very commercial kind of industry to work in, that he's talking, like he said, about booking work, and that I know that that's probably, there's a lot of you in here that aren't in that industry or aren't in that kind of commercial industry. And so it obviously works very different for every individual. But hopefully what I'm going to talk about now is about all the different ways the guilds can help you, and all the different ways that might not necessarily lead to you booking 4 grand's worth of work, but might lead to other avenues and other success stories. So basically I'm going to really talk about what actually are kind of the benefits of the membership and how can you get involved. Because this is how we describe ourselves. This is how we kind of describe the guild, that we're creatives of all persuasions and positions, and we're actively talking, working, sharing and seeking other creative people, talents, events and opportunities. That's kind of our tagline in a way. That's kind of how we describe who we are and what we do. But there's a really key word in there, and that's something that Brett's kind of picked out in his in his talk was that, you know, we're active. And part of why we wanted to do this today is because we really, really want our membership to be this kind of active, buzzing, vibrant membership organisation, this real network where we can bring people together. And, you know, we're trying to do that every day, trying to get members engaged, trying to get members involved in doing things. But obviously it is a bit of a two-way street, and we need to kind of get you guys involved as much as possible. So this is a screenshot from the website that I've just taken off of what you get for your individual membership. This is a list of those benefits. Now, you know, there's obviously the obvious ones, like you get access to the community and promotion of your work and being able to find people and collaborate with people, come to our events, blah, 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 blah. The list kind of goes on. But what I realized when I was looking down this last week is that quite a few of these are things that we offer, but that they need you to come forward, kind of, you know, they need you to participate in that sense. So for example, we can put on as many events as we possibly can, but if no one comes to them, then they're not successful events. And we can offer out things like the opportunity to feature on our blog, but if we don't know that you're working on a really exciting new project that we could feature on our blog, then we're not going to feature that on our blog. You know, it's kind of, we need to know this information from you in order to be able to do a lot of these things. And so you can see it's scientifically proven through this graph that basically, I just wanted to illustrate a bit like Brett's already said it, is that whole thing of like, I honestly truly do believe that you know, the more active you are and the more involved you are in what we do, then hopefully the more you'll reap those rewards and feel that benefit. So I've just got a few steps, and like I said, pop your hand up anytime, interrupt me. There is going to be a little bit of an interactive bit in a bit, so hopefully it won't just be me talking all the time. But firstly, this seems like such an obvious thing, you know, creating a good profile and keeping it up to date is really important. But actually, you'd be quite surprised how many people join and then they just don't have a profile, or join and they have a half filled in profile, or you know, a pretty useless profile really. So again, this is again Brett's profile, but this I just thought I'd use just to highlight exactly what a profile looks like. So just really quickly, you've got your photo, you've got your tagline, you've got your bit of blurb, you've got a chance to upload videos or any photos of your work, you've got kind of links and contacts here. This bit here is to be able to be contacted or to contact other people. That send credits is to do with time banking. And then this down here is where you can list the skills you've got. Now this is a really, really, really important part, because if you do not list your skills, you are not findable, for want of an actual word, when someone searches the website. So you can search in kind of two different ways. I thought I had a search bar somewhere. I'll come to that bit. But you can search in two different ways. You can search via searching for someone's name, so someone knows you. They can search for Kate and find Kate. But if they don't know your name, they might just go on there and search for filmmaking. And if you are a filmmaker and you've not listed filmmaking on your profile, you just won't come up in those search results, because that's just the way that it works. That's the way the search function works. The other really key thing is to have a photo. Because if you don't have a profile picture, you actually don't, actually you can't see this, but on the screen there's actually just a grey box here with a question mark in. But if you don't have a picture, then you actually appear right at the bottom of the listings on the website. Everyone with a picture goes first in order to obviously make the members page look more interesting. If you don't have the a profile picture, you go right to the bottom just as a kind of default. So you want to have a photo on, or some form of profile picture. I just wanted to talk a little bit about profile picture, and I really hope you don't find this patronising, because I'm really not meaning to be. But these are actual, they're not from the Guild, I'd like to point out, but these are actual profile pictures that I found on LinkedIn, which is obviously a professional network like ourselves. So I just wanted to kind of gently highlight that there are such things as good pictures and such things as maybe bad pictures. Obviously blurry pictures that you can't quite make out who you are or what you're doing, or pictures of you drunk on a beach, maybe unless that's kind of what your work's about, that may be not the best and most professional thing that's going to get you work. So I just plucked, these ones are from the Guild website, and I just plucked them off because I just thought they were quite a nice selection of different style profile pictures, just to give you a kind of idea of what a good profile picture might look like. However, I'm glad Sam's not here today. You can have a profile picture, but that still doesn't necessarily mean you've got a good profile, in the sense that Sam, this is he's a real member. He's paid his money, but I'm not entirely sure what he's getting out of it. And that for me is quite worrying, in the sense that he's paid to join, and he's done this, and he's going to feel no benefit for his money. And that, I want people to feel as much benefit as they can for being a member, but we don't know what he does, we don't know what he's interested in, we don't know anything about him, and again, he hasn't got any skills or anything listed, so he won't come up in any search results. So it's just something to bear in mind. Yeah, so this is the search bar. So as you can see, you can search by skills, or you can search by members, i.e. by name. And this is also a function that you can very much use. It's obviously something that we're kind of promoting out to businesses and to the wider world, saying, come and use our website to find filmmakers, photographers, artists, musicians, etc., etc. But obviously you can use it within yourselves if you're looking for people to collaborate with, to work with, to just have a chat with. It's very much obviously there for you guys as well. If you go on to kind of the back end of your profile that has where you can fill in your biography and kind of list your skills that way, there's a list of skills. They're in kind of categories and kind of industries, I guess. There's a list of skills, and it's just a checkbox. You can just go down and check them and say, yeah, I've got those. If there are things that just basically was the easiest way to do it through the website, to get them all listed and get them all unified, so that it gave kind of, if there were two ways of saying things, we kind of had, everyone was saying it the same way. But if there is something on there, and this does happen all the time, so if there's something on there that you have a skill in, that it might be a bit specialist, or it might be something that I've just not thought of, because I compiled this list kind of 3 years ago, if there's something that you do that's not on that list, just tell us and we'll put it on for you. So, that's I guess also a really key thing to say all the time, is that we set up the Guild we launched 2 years ago, very much as a work in progress. We launched, and we didn't say we know perfectly how to run this organisation and how to do this, and we've changed a lot over the last 2 years. We've changed what we do, we've changed how we look, we've changed how we kind of talk about things and stuff like this, and we're always learning, and that's because we've had feedback from members, and that's the way we're going to do it. So please do, if you think we're missing something, if you think there's something we could be doing that would benefit you, if anything like that, just talk to us. When I say us, there's me and Brett are the Guild, and so there is a kind of the emails on the end of the presentation, but there's a contact form on the website that comes directly through to me. So just ping us an email, send us a direct message on Twitter or something, and just say, oh guys, you know what, this would be really great, and we honestly will try and respond to that as much as we can, because that's what we want to do. So if you go on that and there's skills that you have that aren't on that list, just let us know, and it's a really quick thing for me just to go on and add it on, so no problem. Okay, so the time bank has, yeah, oh sorry Tim.
Really sorry.
No.
Just on making a profile, I wondered if you had any advice or experience on what is valuable to put in the actual profile.
Yeah.
On the blurb.
Yeah, so that's a good question really. So in a way, I think it's always good to remember that this is a professional, I don't know why I did this, it's a professional organisation, membership, you know. You are talking about yourself as a professional XYZ, you know. And I think that's really key, is to kind of state what you do and be as kind of clear and concise as you would on your own website if you have one, or your own Facebook page, or, you know, that kind of idea. But I think it's also good to do it as well within a guild context and kind of feel like you're having the conversations that you've just had today, in terms of saying, you know, you can say things like, you know, first paragraph about what you do, and then you can say things like, you know, I'm looking to collaborate with poets and painters and sculptors or something, you know, if that's true, or I'm working on this new project, you know, feel free to obviously say, you know, I'm kind of just starting out, so I could, if anyone's got any tips, or, you know, kind of just, you can use it to talk to other members, but also obviously, first and foremost, be aware that one of our kind of jobs is going out and talking to non-guild people, companies, organisations that need creative skills and use creative people, and saying, use our website to search and find people to employ, basically. So we're going to kind of, you know, if you're a designer, we're going to studios that employ freelancers and going, you know, when you're looking for your next freelance designer, go on our website, search for design, and all these freelance designers come off. So you also want it to be, you know, show your portfolio of work and show what you can do in that sense. And just obviously really clearly your contact, put your contact details. I mean, there's, you know, that's a kind of separate bit, that bit on the side that has your links to websites, social media if you've got them, and also kind of, obviously your email address automatically is on there, but things like your, you know, you can put your phone number on if you want to, but obviously only if you want to. Because if you can have a great profile, but if people can't contact you. We get kind of a few, I just had one last week of a publisher who was publishing a children's book and wanted to get in touch with one of our illustrators because they liked her work and they wanted her to have a chat with her about illustrating this children's book. And they actually got in touch with us and they were like, she doesn't have, you know, her contact details. So I kind of obviously just forwarded them to her email. But yeah, so just, you know, make it as easy as possible for people to find out who you are, what you do, and get in contact with you.
So the contact details are only visible to people who sign up as members?
Well, that's actually, we're just changing that. So initially they were, so not your external links, but to be able to use the kind of email through the website system, that was just internally kind of with members. But actually we're just going to change that because that's not as beneficial for you guys. So if you didn't have kind of your website on there or some kind of other way for people to contact you, it was a bit trickier. You know, so if you, in the meantime, you can always just put your email in your profile bio. You know, you can contact me on this email if you want, but we are working on getting that bit of the website just swapped over so that you'll be more contactable. We initially didn't want you guys to get spammed and things, so we were advised to do it this way, but I think we can work around that. Okay, so is that good? Shall we move on? Fab. So just a quick show of hands, be quite interesting. Has anyone used the time bank yet? Brett has. Kate has. Fab. Okay, so the time bank, for those of you who don't know what time banking is, what a time bank is, what we use it for within the Guild, I just firstly wanted to give you an overview of exactly what I mean when I say time bank. So a time bank is an alternative form of currency where time is traded instead of money. And so the idea is it works within a specific community, and our community is obviously our membership. So when you join the Guild, you get 10 time credits attached to your profile. So if you imagine attached to your profile, you've kind of got like a bank account. And in this bank account, it's got these 10 credits. And every other member has a bank account with credits in attached to their profile. And 1 credit equals 1 hour of anyone else's time within the Guild. At this point, I obviously want to stress that this is totally a kind of opt-in thing. You don't have to use it, and you don't have to, this just because I'm saying you've all got these credits doesn't mean that you have to, if someone approaches you and they want to do a time banking transaction with you, you obviously have the right to say no. But everyone's time is equal, and 1 credit equals 1 hour. And basically, the idea is it's like a skills swap. There's all different kinds of words for it, a knowledge kind of transfer system. But it's a way to share skills and knowledge within a certain community. So the idea is that we're all, in the Guild, we're all so different. We've got over 500 members, and everyone in there is so unique and different and has very different skills. And we're all working on quite different projects that need skills that are often outside of our kind of skill set. And the idea is that through people in the Guild, you can find the skills and the knowledge you need in order to progress your project or your work, to learn something new, to kind of get something done. And so at this point, I just want to play you a little video that we made to kind of illustrate this. So this is a bit of a cheesy, well, you'll see.
This is James. When he joined the Guild, he got 10 time banking credits. James is a filmmaker, and his new short film needs a score. And that's where Sarah comes in. Sarah is a musician. James contacts Sarah and asks her to write the music for his new film. Sarah spends 4 hours composing her award-winning track. James transfers her 4 time banking credits, along with his thanks. Sarah wants to learn how to bake a cake, and that's where Julie comes in. Julie, you guessed it, is a baker. She makes the best cakes in Sheffield. She spends 2 hours with Sarah, passing on her cake-making wisdom. Sarah transfers Julie 2 time banking credits, along with her thanks. So, James got his music, Sarah gets her cake, and who knows what amazing creative adventures Julie will spend her time credits on. Sounds great, right? Visit our website to start your own time banking story.
So that kind of is is a bit of an overview of how it works, hopefully. So the idea is that someone has some time credits and a problem, I guess, something they need help with. So for example, I'm going to be filling in a funding application and I've never applied to this certain funder before and I need some advice on it. So I search the Guild using that search bar for fundraisers, and I find someone who's got lots of experience of applying to these guys and can help me. So I contact them and I say, will you spend an hour with me next week looking over, you know, the kind of funding application and giving me some advice? They agree, we meet, we do the transaction, and then I go away and through the website, I transfer them 1 credit of mine from my bank account to their bank account, and that's kind of the end of it. So the idea is that it's that kind of passing on of the credit, as in like it were money and you go to a shop and you buy something, rather than that kind of reciprocal exchange. So it's not kind of I do you a favour and then you have to figure out what you're going to do for me kind of thing. So we really wanted to pop this in the Guild offer to create this time bank, because we know that through our own experience that, you know, in the creative sector, do me a favour, can I buy you a pint? Can you kind of give me some advice? Can you help me out? These are all phrases that we all use all the time. You know, I've got an issue with this. Do you have experience in this? Can you just tell me how to use this? And we basically wanted to take those and put them into a system where actually it's kind of mutually beneficial and that everyone benefits. And it's kind of this idea that you get something really tangible from helping someone else. You spend an hour helping someone else and you get something really tangible that then means you can get something else out for an hour. And so that's the time bank, that's how it works. And so, yeah, so in the last 2 years, over 300 hours have been exchanged within our community for all different types of things. You know, there's been people who have got kind of photography, graphic design coaching, you know, this list, and much more as well. But I think it's worth pointing out that, you know, when it comes to the time bank, people sometimes get a wee bit nervous because it sounds a little bit like working for free, which I just really want to stress it's absolutely not, because of this idea of this alternative form of currency and you are getting something tangible out of it. But if you are at all uncomfortable with it, you don't want to do it, like I said, all you need to say is if someone approached you and said, you know, do you want to do something through the time bank, you can obviously, totally within your right, just to say, no, I'm all right, thanks. But also, I think that it's kind of worth also saying that it's more of a platform for learning and developing your own skills than it maybe is for getting something done. So for example, if it was, so I myself have used it to get advice about Photoshop. So I kind of have basic Photoshop skills, but I don't know all the fancy things. So I wanted to kind of just find out how to do this one thing. So I asked someone who was very good at Photoshop. She sat down with me for an hour and she just taught me how to do it on Photoshop. That benefits me because I can now do that thing, and that's great. But also it means I'm not kind of going to her, oh, do you know what, can you just do this for me? Can you use your creative skills? Can you use your time to kind of create my project, you know? So it's a lot more about kind of skills and development of knowledge than it is about saying, can you just, you know, if I give you, 10 time banking credits, can you just make me a film, Brett? You know, it's not necessarily about that.
Yes.
So the benefits are, it's a fantastic new way to learn skills and knowledge. But I think, you know, one of the really great things about this is actually this fourth one, which is it's a really great way to extend your network. What I've found through kind of people who use the time bank is it's a bit of a slow burn. You know, like I said, only 2 people in this room, or 3 including me, have actually used the time bank, because people struggle with the concept, I guess, don't quite know what it is. It's kind of a bit like, well, how do I even do that? But I think also it's people don't quite know what they use it for, how it could be useful to them. But what I've seen happen with members is they kind of use it once and then they get a bit hooked and they kind of think, oh, that was great. I've just done this thing and I've learnt this new skill. Now I can use it for that, and oh, I can use it for that as well. And then they use it again and again and again. But what it is quite nice for is just those things of like, if you just want to meet someone to have a coffee and pick their brains, it's a really good excuse for getting in touch with them. You know, it's that kind of takes away that kind of cold calling element. So you're not just going, oh, there's that person and they're really good and I really admire them and I really like their work and I'd quite like just to sit down with them and say, you know, I'm just starting out maybe, or I'm just, you know, going into this new phase of my career, my work, and I'd just like to just have a coffee with you. it kind of gives you that really good excuse. Firstly, we're both in the guild, so that's quite a nice, excuse. But also the fact that, we can do that through the time bank. Just kind of, it's a really nice way of just extending your network and getting to know people. So you can just use it for literally having a coffee with someone and picking their brains. It doesn't need to be something so kind of elaborate in a way. So yeah, that's kind of time banking. Does anyone have any questions about time banking, how that works? Yeah, James.
Can people review their time banking experience?
So yes, but only I can see it. So we had, this was something we really debated about when we set the website up, was when you've done a time banking transaction, when I showed the profile and I said, that bit up there's for time banking, there's a bit on everyone's profile that says send credits. So once you've done a time banking transaction with someone, so if I did one with you, I'd then go back on your profile and I'd click on send credits, and there's a screen comes up with my face, your face, and a little arrow, and I take one of my credits and I give it to you. And then it says kind of, there's a little comments box and a little 5-star rating where I can rate this. We thought that was really important because what we didn't want was people to, and I mean, this hasn't happened, people to say they had skills they didn't have and kind of cheat people out of credit, to kind of say, I'm great on Photoshop. And then actually when you go and sit down with them, you're like, you don't know anything about Photoshop, so that it was a way for us to be able to flag up if someone was kind of cheating the system in a way. But I think we decided not to make those reviews public because we felt like that would then make it unfair on other members. If just for coincidence you got picked, you're a filmmaker and you got picked first for the first ever filmmaking time banking transaction, and you get a 5-star review, and then the next person comes along and search filmmaking, they're going to go with that person again because they've got a 5-star review and no one else has any reviews. It's not because they're rubbish, it's because they've just never done a time banking transaction. So that's the reason we decided not to make it public. So it's more just every time a time banking transaction happens, I just get a little email with the rating and the comment on it, just to kind of monitor that everything's going fine. And touch wood, it is so far.
That could be something that would be really helpful as like testimonials or something. Is that something that we could contact you and say, does anyone say anything nice about me? Like that, and you would send that through?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you also get an email copy of that. So you get a thing that says kind of so and so has transferred you 1 time banking credit, and then the little dialogue box as well.
So you could quote that in your profile?
You could, very much so. Yeah. Any more questions? We all good? We all still with it? We're not falling asleep? It's quite hot in this room, isn't it?
Sorry.
Yeah, go on.
So with time banking,
Mm-hmm.
if you were to advertise your services for time banking credits,
Yeah.
what would be the best avenue for that? Would you do that on the forum, or would you contact them directly?
That's a really good point, and something I did actually mean to, that's my next slide. I thought I'd finished, but actually this is my next slide. So you can find out loads more about time banking on our website under the time banking tab. And there's 2 kind of pages, one that says what is time banking, which is basically what I've just covered, and another one that says how does it work. And that's a bit more of a practical guide for members on like exactly how it works. But there are, the best way to kind of find someone is obviously to search for them and to email them and contact them like that. If you are really keen to do some time banking transactions, and the best way is to go via the message board, which I kind of get onto in a minute, but to pop a message on the message board going out to everyone saying, these are my skills, I'm really looking to, do some time banking transactions, and I'd really like to meet people. One question people always ask us is, people are a bit scared to use their credits. They're a bit like hoarding them for when they really need them because they're scared of running out. Because more people, obviously there's not a load of people time banking at the moment, and there's lots of people in the guild, and so chances are, how are you going to accrue credits once you've spent yours? And so what we try and do is, as the guild, we try and offer out as many ways for you to get involved and to earn time banking credits through us. So, you know, it's just really simple things like we're doing an event. Do you want to come and just tear tickets on the door for a couple of hours and we'll give you some time banking credits and things like that. We also are talking about running kind of more time banking events where we are doing things like, I don't know, we just decide to give away 40 hours of time banking and do a kind of pitching event where we get people to come up and pitch to kind of their project and why they need some time banking credit in order to do their project. You know, so we're kind of trying to think of different ways where we can, I guess, sounds a bit elaborate, but be like the kind of head bank, you know, where we're kind of putting the money, I'm not an economist, but putting the money into the system in order to get the money flowing. There's better ways to say that, but you know, we're trying to kind of get people spending, basically, is what we want. So we're trying to think of ways we can do that. Yeah.
Would it be cheesy if you got like credits on your birthday every year?
Ah, that's a nice idea. No, like a little birthday present. That would be nice. We'd have to find out when everyone's birthday was. It might be a logistical nightmare. Yeah, that might be nice. Remember that one. Yeah, thanks for that tip. Cool. So we're coming to the end, don't worry. But there's some just key other bits. So they were kind of like the website-y things, you know, like getting your profile up to date and using the functionality of the website a bit more. But there's obviously a really, really key one. You know, we have this online platform that we kind of just offer up to people and we go, use it, you know, it's there, use it. But we also run you know, a heck of a lot of events. In the last year, we've put on nearly 30 events, which is it's really considerable kind of events, and they range from kind of you know, monthly socials and kind of ways, presentation evenings, getting people in to kind of speak about their work and what they do, to kind of our Christmas party every year, and exhibitions and showcases and kind of workshops, and getting, you know, people from different organisations in to talk about opportunities they've got going on. So all different kinds of things that we run, and we're always trying to expand on that and get more interesting and kind of helpful and exciting events in our programme. But again, they're no good to anyone if you don't actually come. So I know that there's often kind of, you know, everyone works very different schedules. We try and move our events around as much as possible. You know, this is the first one ever we've done on a Monday morning, you know, and we do them on all different nights of the week and try and do all different times of the day to make them as accessible to as many people as possible. But again, you know, if you've got any thoughts or any suggestions on that, how we can improve that, how things can work better for our members, then do get in touch. If there's any things you think it would be really useful to have a workshop on, if we could arrange to get someone in to talk about X, you know, that would be really great for you, then let us know about that. You know, we're here for you to use us, and in a way it's kind of, the more you kind of tell us what you need, the more we can give you what you need. So, so again, come to our events. They're really good, and it's just a great way to meet people. And so these are just a selection of some of the events we've had over the past year or so. Again, you know, this is our new one, and our next one is this collaboration with Roco up on Gossip Road, the creative cooperative up there. They're kind of next to the Harley pub. If you know them, they're a studio space. They've got a really nice bar and event space and a gallery, and they've got some great things going on. And we've collaborated with them over the past month to do, over the past few months to do a monthly kind of creative social where we get 2 of our members to speak about what they're up to, and they get 2 of their members in to speak about what they're up to, and they're really short, sharp presentations, and yeah, it's a really nice night. If you've not made it to one of those, then I highly recommend them. on that note, we're always looking for people to kind of come and speak at our events, to kind of showcase what they're working on, to kind of tell us, you know, what's going on in their lives and what they're up to. And if you've got that exciting project coming up, if you're a theatre maker and your show's on next week, it would be a good, next month, then, you know, it's a good way to kind of get these timings right. Tell us in advance and we can schedule you in for things. Because again, you know, these are kind of things that we facilitate, but they're kind of platforms for you to use and get involved with. And like Brian was kind of saying earlier with the whole member of the month thing, you know, we can only kind of put out emails saying, anyone want to get in touch, anyone want to do that. If no one gets in touch and does it, then these things are going to kind of fizzle away. But I'm sure there is the appetite for these kinds of things, so do get in touch with us. We're going to eventually have a kind of, you can search organisations separately from individuals, but at the moment, organisations can kind of list their skills and what they're about. So if they're kind of a filmmaking collective or a design studio, you know, they come up when you search design. But again, you can search them through the name and things, but their profile looks slightly different, but it's listed on the member page in the same way that an individual was.
Can I ask?
Yeah.
Do you have a situation where you can have like a guild within a guild? Like, this is a creative guild. Like, say, I'm an artist, so would you have, like, say, like a way of sort of connect with other artists, or filmmakers, or do you know what I mean? Sort of break it down. I mean, I'm not like a big social person, so when I go to these events, it's like trying to think, okay, so who's an artist?
Who's useful for you in this big crowd? Yeah. Actually, I couldn't sleep last night, and I was lying awake, obviously thinking about work. And at about 1 o'clock in the morning, I had this thought of like, we need to do monthly socials that are actually kind of, this is our kind of artist social, this is our design social, this is our writers social, this is our filmmaker social, you know. And I was thinking we probably need to, that was my thought at 1 a.m. So actually it's quite apt. So yeah, so that kind of thing, would that suit your needs in that sense a bit? Yeah, so I think, would that be of interest to other people as well, if everything was a bit more? I think what we aim to do, you know, when we set up, part of the motivation behind us setting up, we were kind of a collective of people from loads of different industries that all worked in the creative sector. You know, I'm from a theatre background, there were other people from other backgrounds, and the idea was that we wanted to really unite the creative sector and bring everyone into the same room and bring the kind of, you know, the photographers from over there and get them talking to the poets over here and kind of pull everyone into the same room. And I think we've been really focused on doing that over the past 2 years and making it this space for everyone and this way for everyone to connect. But I think actually there's really, you know, a really valid point that you made, that actually it becomes a bit diluted down when you have kind of so many different people, and actually it can be quite hard to navigate through that, you know, so actually, yeah.
It's interesting because it's like, I mean, it'd be nice to have, I mean, I don't mean separate, because
no.
It's actually like, if I think about myself as a textile artist, I'd quite like to get the connection with people involved in theatre, because we've got set design and things like that, so I quite like the idea of that, but initially being able to sort of
yeah. But I mean, we wouldn't say, well, you're an artist, Jackie, you can't come to the theatre meeting. Do you know what I mean? Like, they'd be open to everyone, but it would be more the theme of the event would be a bit different, I guess. And also, I think for me, I was thinking different industries have different needs and different, you know, if you're an artist, what you need from the guild is probably very, very different to if you were, I don't know, like, trying to think of something very different from an artist, but a musician maybe or something, you know, like you know, they probably want, you know, we're thinking to put on an event called, you know, how to get a record deal, that kind of idea. That's not of interest to you, but it's of interest to them, and vice versa. You know, it's kind of, it's about, yeah, different people have different needs, and hopefully we're trying to find ways to hit all those needs.
Perhaps you should just have stickers of various colours for the different industries.
Yeah, like just have some kind of visible sign. Yeah. And so this is kind of the final point, which is very much about what I've been saying all the way through, really, which is about using us, becoming those really active members and getting in touch with us, but also other members. So kind of thinking when you're going about your everyday business and you're kind of, planning your work, whatever that may be, thinking, how can the guild help me to do this better? I'm planning an event maybe next month. The guild can help me promote it, or my theatre show's on. The guild can write a blog about it, or I'm applying for Arts Council funding. The guild might be able to help in that, with resources and packs that we've got that are about how to apply for Arts Council funding. These kinds of things. It's about just generally bearing us in mind, I guess, in that sense that you've paid for this. That's kind of my big thing is you've paid to be part of this, and I really want you to feel the benefit of it in that sense. And so these are just a selection of some of the blogs that we've done over the past few months. So as you can see, there's Jackie. This is our Creatives of Sheffield thing. So we started this when we had Open Up Studios. And we thought there were about 10 of our members all taking part in Open Up. And we thought that was a really good way for me and Brett to really spend a day going around and visiting everyone's studios, taking photos of them, doing interviews with them, and that would give us 10 kind of these in the bag kind of thing. So we have, at the moment, I think we've put 4 out. We've still got 6 to come. But what we're kind of thinking of now is who's next? Who are our next creators of Sheffield? So, and also because these guys are all very kind of artists and makers, we're probably going to be looking for the next ones to be in different kind of industries, I guess. But that doesn't mean that artists and makers aren't also going to have a chance to take part in this, because we're just, to be honest, looking for lots of different people. Like I said, we have our Make Time Creative Socials once a month. That means every month we're looking for 2 members to come along to that and present. That's a 10-minute presentation. The theme of it is 10 slides, 1 minute per slide, what you do, how you do it, and why you do it is the theme. So it's just basically an overview of your work. So we've had all different types of people coming up and going, okay, this is me, this is what I do, this is why I do it. And it's really lovely. It's just a really nice kind of show and tell event, a great way to get to know people and to just kind of highlight what you're up to. And then we also have kind of, these ones are kind of our talking ones, which are, so we were talking branding with Heather, who's a kind of brand planner and designer. We were talking copyright and IP with Johnny, who's one of our board members. He's also a musician, but he's also a solicitor for Taylor and Emmett. So he specialises in copyright and IP. So again, if you feel you've got a speciality that you could share, that you want to kind of share with other people, that's great. Get in touch with us. And then also, if you're just working on a project, so these 2, this was a theatre production that was being created by one of our, actually both of them are theatre shows that were created by our members that they just wanted a bit of publicity for, so we just put them on the blog. So again, anything you're working on, yeah.
Who has access to see these? Is it the public as well?
Yeah. So it's totally public. It's on the website. We've got a blog on the website. It's totally public. We push them out through all our social media as well. So the reach goes out pretty far. We put them in our newsletter every month. And, most importantly as well, you can use it. So you can share it. You can send it out, So it's a way for you to have something to kind of talk about if you're doing, So yeah, it's for you. This is our message board. Hopefully you're all aware of this. This is just on the website. It's got 3 different topics. You simply go on it and you click on this big orange button, and then you can post on it yourselves. This is goes out in a kind of summary. You'll have all obviously got it every Thursday morning. You get a summary of what's been posted that week. There's jobs, there's opportunities, there's just stuff. At the moment, it's mainly me and Brett posting things on there that we come across that we think are useful for you, but we'd really love it to be more of you and less of us, in that you're using it to kind of find people, to advertise yourself, to tell people what's going on, you know, and if you're looking for jobs, again, it's a good portal there.
Can I just ask,
Yeah.
what's the lead-in time? In other words, if you've got an event that's, say, in October, that's good time, is it?
Good time now, yeah. Generally, it's up to you, but it depends what kind of event it is as well. But you know, if you're planning something for October, then a month before is generally a good time to start shouting about it. But also, if you want us to write a blog on it and things like that, that takes time. So pre-planning is always useful for us anyway, because then we don't have to rush so much.
So what would be the kind of intro to a blog on it? Contact with either yourself or direct
Just
and
pop us an email.
hear it, see
Just
what
pop,
the thoughts
yeah,
are.
exactly.
Yeah.
So if you've got something that you think we could write a blog on, yeah, just get in touch. Just let us know, and we'll send. We have kind of various different. We'll just probably sometimes send you a set of questions, and you can just answer them, and then we'll format that into a blog. Or if it's something that maybe you want to write about yourself, that you can just write and send us, and we'll just put it out. Or if it's something else that needs a bit more of our input, we can help you with that. If you are on Facebook, we have a closed group purely for members. Can't actually see it, but if you just search Sheffield Creative Guild members area, it is on our Facebook page, but they keep changing where it lives, and I'm not entirely sure where it lives at the moment. But this is a really nice. It's a kind of extension of the message board, I guess. It's just a really nice way for people just to post what they're up to or ask a question and get some advice. So obviously, if you're not on Facebook, I'm really sorry. It's obviously lives on Facebook, and that's the platform. But if you are on Facebook, then please do join. You just have to kind of ask to join, and then we'll just approve you. And also, if you can't find it, just let us know and we can send you the link to it. But it does exist, it is there. And then that's kind of the end of my spiel. This is just a prompt to obviously also just follow us on social media, because that's a great way to find about what events we're doing. You know, we send out a newsletter every month that has a roundup. All our events are listed on our website. When we're doing events, we send out individual emails as well. You know, read our emails, follow our social media, email us, get in touch. Like I said, there's just the two of us. It's not a massive team, so you are talking to us when you email. It's not some random stranger. And we're really nice, friendly, approachable people, and we really want to help you. So talk to us.